Hello and welcome back to our sustainable journey. I'm Steve. I've been away for a couple weeks because I got COVID and it pretty much knocked me out. I'm still raspy, I'm still coughing, I guess. Um, and everything hurts. So it's great. Wear a mask is all I have to say there. So today we are going to do some winterizing with the worms and we'll do a feeding. Stay tuned. Let's start with the urban worm bag. Let's see how they're doing here. Oh my goodness. There it is. All right, we're gonna start with the urban worm bag. So, what I'm gonna do, what I normally do in these types of situations, is I pull back a little bit, and then I put the food down, and then I push this stuff back over top of the food. So we're gonna kind of rake up a little bit here because this is a big surface area. God only knows how far into the bin the worms are, and so I want to kind of do a full layer of feed on this. So let's get some food for them. All right, we'll start with some apples, a few that were dropped on the floor because, you know, kids are clumsy. And I'm gonna put them in there. I know they're gonna like them, so I'm not too concerned. Put the rest of this in there. And I will cover that up. Cover that up. That is a, what do you call it? An avocado pit. All right, we'll put the corn back, cover those back up, we get some more food, and we'll do the same thing in this area right here. We'll dig a little trench, and I will put some food right there. Oh, there's an apple I missed. Okay, so let's grab more food. All right, we have expired cottage cheese. I think it expired like a week ago. And so, dairy, you're not supposed to put in your worm bins. Like cheese and things like that. Don't pour milk in there, that'd be a terrible idea, but cheeses, things like this, sour cream, it's fine. All that stuff is more about pest control, because the smells with curdled milk and curdled cheeses and just nastiness will inspire other pests to come to your worm bins. But we're out here in the workshop and there's already pests out here, so I'm not really that concerned. So we will scoop this in, just put it in there. See if I can maybe pour this in. It's gonna be kind of messy. There we go. That is most of it. All right, we'll spread it out a little bit. Cover it back up. All right, and then I will do a trench over here for the last container. And we can reuse this container. Oh, there's still a little bit more in there. Come on. Right. Okay, last but not least, potato soup that I had while I was sick. I made it. Wasn't able to finish all of it. So we will pour that in there. It's mostly just potatoes and milk. So there's that dairy again. Alright, let me scoop this out. Okay, we will spread it out a little bit, cover it up a little bit. And I'm going to limit the feeding in this worm bag to what I just gave them because I don't know how many worms are in here. I didn't set this up. I didn't add any worms. This is exactly how I received it, essentially. So I've just been feeding them small amounts every week and hoping that that is enough to keep them happy. So we'll see. They don't seem to be complaining. They're still alive, as you can see. So assume we're doing a good job with it. Versus our other bins, we know exactly how many are in there and how much they go through on a regular basis. So since this bin is kind of new to me, I don't really know. So we'll zip it back up and then I will go find some more food for the other bins. Stay tuned. Okay, this is the bin that was acquired at the same time as the urban worm bag. So you can see there's a bunch of worms hanging out on top. A little bit of mold, it looks like. That's all right. Mold is good. So I'm going to take this off, although there's a bunch of worms on it. I'll set that aside. We'll take the plastic and set that aside. And we'll do the same thing. A little trench, and these guys are getting pomegranates and there's a little bit of corn in there too. Pomegranates and corn. I was going to give this to the chickens, but these guys are getting it instead. All right, so we'll cover it back up. The reason you cover it up is so that other pests can't find it, mainly like fruit flies and fungus gnats. The worms can find it because they're under the soil. All right. Cover that up. Cover that up. Put the cardboard back on. Seal these guys back up. All right, and then we'll do that one next. Okay. This is the bin that we made with all the big no-nos that the internet says you're not supposed to give worms, which I do believe. There's that stupid coffee filter again. I do believe they've finished. I don't think there's anything left. The cardboard is left. But that's going to take a while to break down anyway. Yeah, I don't really see anything. Okay, so we'll do the same thing. Dig a little trench. Put in some pomegranates and corn. We'll cover that up. And I'm actually going to do more over here because I see a bunch of worms over here. Because I think this is where the original, this is where the original wad of, I think it was rice or something that we put in there originally. So we'll do another trench. Dump the rest of this in. There we go. And we'll cover it back up. Oh, and I'm going to pull this out. This is the top cover of a K-cup or a one of those coffee individual things. So this is going in the trash. All right. We'll cover this all back up. Curious how they've done on this cup. It's still going. All right, maybe we'll push that down and cover it up a little bit. Okay. We'll cover it back up with the paper that's seen better days. There we go. So, get them all in there. Get any soil off the spoon. Okay. And then I will cover them back up. So there's babies. Just cruising around the lid. And I don't worry about that very much. Ooh. Okay. So, last time, I think we talked about sorry. That's not going away anytime soon. Last time, we talked about winterizing the farm stuff. So, with the worms, what we do is we do heated mats. So they're tucked over here because we use these shelves for bees and for worms. And so those are the mats. There's two different sizes. There's an extra large and there's a small, I don't know, a large and a small, medium and a large. Doesn't really matter. One's twice the size of the other one. So you can fit two of these types of bins on them. So what we'll do is we'll put both of them up here. It's kind of funny to have a heating mat on top of a freezer, but that's what we're going to do. The freezer has frames in it from the beehives to keep pests away from them. That's the only reason we have that. So then I'll get a heating mat for this one and that one for the worm bag. I think I'm going to have to bring that in the house because there's no way for me to easily heat that. Or not heat it, but keep it warm. So I may end up either wrapping a blanket around it or just bringing it inside the house because there's no pests in any of these. Actually, it's not a big deal to do that for any of them. We could bring these all in the house, but it'll be one of the two. But it's in the 70s today. It's been in the 30s, 40s to 70s. It's going all over the place right now. So I don't really know what it's going to be. But those heating mats, they're technically pet mats. You can get them at most pet stores. They're relatively inexpensive and they keep it at a steady temperature so that if it's crazy warm out, they're not going to heat it up. So they're pretty decent in that regard. So we use them because that way we know that the worms will be at a steady temperature. But if you do have animals, you want to make sure that you keep a cover on your bins because 2 years ago we had some cats in here, and well, we still technically do, and it doesn't get warm, but it gets cozy, we'll say. And so the cats were actually sitting in one of my worm bins. We had a kitten who would snuggle up in the worm bin to keep warm because it was on a heating mat. And so we had to get a special designated heating mat for the cats that are locked out here. But yeah, so just make sure you have lids on your bins because otherwise animals will get in there because it's nice and toasty. And if it's, -30 out or whatever, they want to be slightly warm and it feels good. So they'll go in and live in your worm bins. So you want to make sure you put lids on all these, especially to avoid rodents and things like that if you have these out in outbuildings or whatnot. So there you go. That'll do it for us today. We'll keep an eye on these worms and keep feeding them and let you know how it's going and what's going on with this urban worm bag once we harvest the castings from it. So we'll see y'all next time. Don't forget to wear a mask, please.